Hello, mortals! This is the Booktube Goddess, the #1 drag queen booktuber on YouTube, and this is a Get Ready With Me where I put on drag makeup to film videos later today. And Lynette is here, yay! So thank you for joining us, Lynette. If you're here, please sound off, or I'll just be us today. I don't know. So my makeup is a little wonky. My nose is a little crooked, but it is what it is. So how is your reading coming along, Lynette? I finished Station Eternity. Definitely, Cappuccino's here. Yay, thank you for joining us, Cap. Definitely a thumbs up, gets my blessing. But I remember last week I was saying I'm always at the 50% mark about, and I was really enjoying the focus on the main character and the mystery, and it's kind of like a mystery in terms of the writing and the plot. But then it switched right after I told you guys that. It kind of switched because we got introduced to a maybe 6 more characters, and there's chapters by their points of views and flashbacks and all that. So it went in a direction that kind of wasn't my favorite type of reading, but it's still a really good book. It's still a great science fiction, great aliens. I really like the plot. It was just right at that 50% mark. It just kind of shifted with introducing us with a whole bunch of new point of view characters. Okay, we have Cool Gamer, yay! 78% true Madship, hope you're enjoying it. Hey Sandra, glad you made it. Fit to be Red's here, and DK Moon, yay! Okay, let me get started on, I thought I was going to do blue today, sort of a blue. Maybe I'll add a little purple, I don't know. But what I'm trying to do, I didn't put any guidelines. I thought I would try to freehand it with sort of a narrower band of color. Like this. We'll see what happens. Enjoying Madship, yay. Oh, I remember last week I was talking about, hey, why don't we do another sort of reading, or, sort of a book discussion during one of these live streams like we did with Prayer for the Crown Shy. And I had mentioned The Glass Witch, and I went ahead and read it this week. It's very short, middle grade. But I guess I read it so you don't have to. I shouldn't say that. It's a good book. It's a strong debut. I like the representation of sort of a person or girl of size representation. And there is a Muslim character. And I like the voice, especially in the first couple chapters. But the plot itself, I thought, was kind of predictable and not that unique. And I was thinking, well, if we have a discussion about this, I'm not sure what we would talk about. So in those terms, I'm not sure if it's a great discussion book. I'm not. And I hate saying that, but I don't know. You finished 2 nonfiction books, The Andy Survivor and the other about the outsider artist Henry Darger. That's too bad. Andy's book was poorly written. Oh, you bought The Glass Witch. Okay. Oh, I'll be so curious to see what you say, Lynette. Especially if you think it'd be worth having a discussion about. And it's like $10. Which I know isn't that much money, but for people that buy books a lot or prefer the library. This doesn't look even. Going to read at the end of the month. Was waiting to see. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it's a good one to. I hate saying that since Lynette already bought it. I mean, we could do it. I was thinking today of doing a video on Enola Holmes, and I think that would be a good one to have a discussion of. And I know it's been out long enough that I'm sure it's in a library. And it's also a Netflix movie that's, I think, is worth watching. So we could talk about the differences between the movie and the book, which is basically what I'm going to do in this. And if I do a video on it today. And I was looking up the Enola Holmes books, and they're listed as a young adult, even though I think they read more like middle grade. But the thing is, the character's age is 14. And that's one of those no man ages. It's because middle grade's supposed to be from 8 to 12, and young adult's supposed to be from 13 to 18. But when you read young adult, it's usually the 16, 17, 18. So there's that age category from 13, 14, 15 that is rare to see as a main character. Henry Darger was sad. His mother died when he was 4. His father neglected him, and he ended up in a home for feeble. Oh my goodness. $23 in Sweden. That's ridiculous. That is ridiculous. But you could get the Kindle ebook version. I'm sure it must be cheaper than that. That's ridiculous. He had to cope with being a gay man in the early 20th century. Sadly, it didn't. He lived in poverty his entire life. Now, I know I've mentioned this book before, but it's Naked Civil Servant by Quentin Crisp, who wasn't early 20th. He was, I guess, mid 20th. Like the 1940s, 50s. out, very flamboyant. Gay man, and it felt like if you like look up more of his life, he has like YouTube videos and whatnot. Um, it really he didn't really live very lavishly. I mean, he was pretty darn poor up until his books came out and became popular, and his life took a turn when he was much older, like in his 60s, 70s, which is kind of nice to see that someone that had it, obviously, really rough, to find success in their later life. Just trying to blend out this color so it's not. Well, oh, Tawny Man. I like Tawny Man. I am a big fan of the Elderling series. Oh, so I read The Glass Witch, and then I switched. I've been meaning to read this book for a while, but Cemetery Boys by Aidan. I forgot the author's name. Aidan Thomas, something like that. Okay, now I have blues somewhere. Okay. But I'm only like on chapter 2. Just barely started it. I'm a little concerned it's going to be a romance that I hope isn't a main storyline. And let's go. Man, that purple's really dark. Well, it is what it is. Might have to choose between Life Ship or The Magician's Book. Oh, you mean from Lev Grossman? Oh, those are good too. Especially if you're into, or if we're a big fan of Narnia, because it really is, I don't know if satire or parody is the right word, but it's really taking the Narnia, your love of Narnia books when you were a kid, and really twisting it in a really dark way. Lots of trigger warnings on that, though. Strange Worlds Travel Agencies. I visited a bookstore in the area where the author is from for a middle grade. Oh, Strange Worlds Travel Agency. It sounds familiar to me. I don't know why that sounds familiar to me. Hey, Lori. Oh, sorry you can't stay. Glad you popped in. Yes, it's Tawny Hobbs. Tawny Hobbs. Robin Hobbs. Grossman. I could suggest the Flavia DeLuce books. They are aimed at adults. Oh, I think I remember you saying that. That's the mystery. It's a mystery, cozy mystery. Lev Grossman. I seldom read YA or younger and seldom random single books, mostly just long series. Yeah, I kind of prefer series too. Okay, how am I going to darken this blue? They turned The Magicians into a TV series on the Sci-Fi Channel, and I thought it was really good, but I didn't keep up with it. But I saw that they just released it onto Netflix, so maybe I'll just finish watching that series. Okay. Strange Worlds Travel Agency as a book or series title. I know, just the title. Just the title makes me want to read it. I love Wheel of Time. Prefer standalone except for mystery series, which are sort of standalones. Yeah, that's right. Like the Enola Holmes books. You can basically read them in any order. Well, I would still read the first one, Case of the Missing Marquess, because it sort of establishes how her beginnings. But after that, you don't really. Well, I take that back, because they go into her relationship with Sherlock Holmes, her brother, which, if you squint hard, kind of has a relationship arc throughout the books. But yeah, most mysteries you don't. I'm trying to think. I know I've read a fair amount of the Nero Wolfe books. Um, Simply because my father was into them. But you could definitely read them in any order. But I think you could kind of, if you could kind of map out some type of timeline, um, if you wanted to. Okay. Have trouble committing to long fantasy series, which is why I have set myself the task of a trilogy. See, I have, I have no problem with trilogies. Going back to Lord of the Rings, no problem with fantasy trilogies, um, or even quartets. But sometime, I guess, in the mid '90s, they got really long. Maybe it's because of Wheel of Time or Game of Thrones or something, where suddenly the series don't stop at um, three. They just go on and on and on. And sometimes, unless you catch them like right when they're being released, because then they're released like once a year, so you read a book a year, um, which isn't as big of a deal as looking at a series that's like 10 plus books or something ridiculous like that. And that's the starting point. Like Wheel of Time, I read as they were being published, and I didn't even notice how long it was because there's like a year or two between the books. So reading it was no issue. It's usually a little black to define the. The middle grade book I really want to read, and it's only because I've seen the Disney series, and Disney just released a second season of this series, which is why it's on my radar, and that's the Benedict Society. Because if the books are as good as the television series, I'd be very interested. Okay, so there's. I don't know where I was going with this. Trilogies are less intimidating than a giant series, even though the Elderlings is a lot of book. Yeah, yeah. That's one of the reasons why I really like the Elderling series. Also, Mercedes Lackey's Valdemar world. There are dozens and dozens of books in that world, but they're all divided usually into like trilogies or quartets. There's it's not like one long storyline. But yeah, Robin Hobbs is my favorite though. I like Mercedes Lackey too. I kind of grew out of Mercedes Lackey, to be honest. Um, that's why I keep saying she'd be good for someone transitioning from middle grade. Series they're published is they might never be finished. Yeah. Well, the big one was Robert Jordan because he passed away before the series was done. Um, and then Brandon Sanderson picked it up. And Brandon Sanderson, I love him as a writer, but there's something different, in my opinion, about his Wheel of Time books. There's something a little extra in the characters of that Robert Jordan wrote that didn't translate to Brandon Sanderson. Oh, that's interesting. You read the first 3 sets of the Fitz series with a few months between each. Ooh, Kingkiller Chronicles. Yeah, yeah, I love Scott Lynch. The Gentleman Bastard, is that it? Liza Locke Lamora. Oh, really? Um, but I think you could read The Lives of Locke Lamora as a standalone. I think. What am I doing? um, mm, I guess we're just going to do cut the crease with purple and just do purple. Because they're on the bottom, purple on the bottom, and to just bring some up on the top. Because just because. Oh, another series or trilogy. John Marco. I have some of his books back here. I forgot the name of the series. But look up John Marco. He's a really good fantasy writer. And I don't know what happened to him. If he's still writing or what, but his first series, Jacqueline R, is that it? It's really good. I really should have put eyeliner on first. What am I doing? You know, there are so many good fantasy series or trilogies out there that we just have forgotten about or just aren't on anyone's radars because they were written in the 80s or 90s, which isn't that long ago. Another one I recommend is Trudy Canavan and Elizabeth Hayden. Is that her name? Sarah Douglas. No, I was going to do this. I'm just going to fill all this in with purple. Okay. Let me try to blend this. Okay. Yeah, I think Octavia Butler's Parable of the Sower and Parable of the Talents was supposed to be a trilogy as well, but she passed before they were. Oh, I didn't know that. Yeah, I love those books. I think Sando helped a few things in Wheel of Time, but he missed in a few. Yeah, but of course you're always thinking, well, what would Jordan have done? How would Jordan have done it? Listening to The Swarm by Frank Schatzing for your monthly book and translation. German eco thriller. Oh, it's been into a mini series. Oh, I'm curious about that. Yeah. Yeah, just start. Yeah, you could start in a lot of places with Octavia Butler. I will read some Octavia Butler next year to help get to your target of 50% women. The Swarm also fits into over 800 pages. Wow. Amber series, great one, by Zelazny. Malazan, I've talked about Malazan before. One of the few series where I couldn't finish it. I got at least to the 4th or 5th book, and it just got to be too dense for me. Those Malazan books are, and a lot of science, they're pretty, actually, let me just, can I find one real quick? This is one of the Malazan books, Reaper's Gale. Yeah, I knew it was over 800. This is 910 pages. They just kept getting thicker and thicker and crazier and crazier. Okay. Of course, now that I predominantly read ebooks, I don't really look at the page counts. I probably should, because that's how I end up buying novellas, thinking I'm buying a novel. But it works the other way too. Sometimes I buy a novel thinking it's, a 400, 500 page fantasy. I think that's like the average of fantasy, of epic fantasy. And then the book keeps going and going and going. And it's like, not having any idea how long your book is an interesting choice. Like, what was that one book? I didn't like the book that much. Priory of the Orange Tree. But I had no idea how big the book was. And I was like reading it on an ebook. And I was like, man, this thing is just going on forever. But of course, it actually was a long book. Okay. Yeah, I was really disappointed in that book, but it didn't help that at least when I bought it, it was like marketed as the lesbian version of Game of Thrones. Which I don't think did it any favors. Especially since the same-sex plots were supposed to be like somewhat of a little surprise. Of course, you weren't surprised because you read that on the blurb or the review or whatever. And in that book, I also really wasn't into the characters. They weren't, I don't know, for me, they weren't very relatable. But the big thing was, I kept thinking there was going to be some big, interesting plot development, but it just never materialized for me. I don't know. I apologize if that was your favorite book. Big book fear is real. I'm only committing myself to 2 long reads next year, both Australian books. Yeah, the Malazan, definitely, for me. Don't worry about page count. Also try to read books by New Zealand authors. Oh, you love The Priory. Okay, great. Asexual characters. Well, one thing I like about middle grade is there's usually no sex involved. Asexual. I'm trying to think. Annie Leckie, the Ancillary Justice or Ancillary Series. Was that? Is that asexual? Are you talking with like an asexual romance? Because I would say it fits in the full. Man, it looks patchy on screen. Mm. Someone look up Sarah Douglas or Elizabeth Hayden. I think one of them are New Zealand, or maybe it's just Australia. I know Trudy Canavan is Australian. Okay, let's put on some Playful. And I mean glitter. I'm looking for my little silicone thing to put on the glitter glue. Oh shoot, where is it? I just had it. There. It's just a little silicone. Oh, here we go. Lazzo has asexual main character. I'm not familiar with that. Once was warriors and the luminaries. The Fool, yep. And Amber from Elderlings. Every Heart is a Doorway has a confirmed ace character. And of course, Loveless by Alice Oseman. Haven't read that. Reads with Rachel did a good video on asexuality. Oh, you've just started coming out as asexual. My sister just laughed at me when I told her. Well, she'll come around. Phooey on her. But thank you for sharing, Lynette. That's interesting. If you find good asexual rep in a book, let us know. I think it's probably going to be a new book because asexuality, at least as a identity, really is kind of a new thing, isn't it? Maybe I'm wrong on that, but oops. Okay, let me start. Yeah, coming out is never. It's always awkward. And but the honest truth is most people don't care what your sexuality is. You think it's going to be a big deal, and most people are like, so what? It's not my life. Okay. But it's always the families that seem to care the most, or they seem to have an opinion. Like I'm sure I've shared with you before that I was basically estranged from my uh, father and stepmother for about 20 years. When I came out as gay. Okay, so I'm going to good for you, Lynette. I hope your sister will come around. She just doesn't understand. That would be my guess. Cap's on the A spectrum too. At least at my age, you only have people urging me to have relationships like 20 to 30 years ago. Last relationship was 1991. Hope she will come out. When I came out to my loved ones were not supporting, but after a while, they realized it sort of doesn't change who we are. Exactly. There can be asexual partnerships and even romantic relationships. Yeah. That's just the amazing thing about being human. Is there's just such a variety of different people and how they operate, relationships. And who are we to judge? As long as they're consenting adults, I should emphasize. Okay. Now we go crazy with the black. Yeah, when I say people don't care, I just mean like acquaintances or coworkers. I've never really had much of a reaction from non-family members because, like I said, most people just don't care. They have their own lives, their own things going on. Where does it? I'm going back to the glitter because I think I just wanted to press it in more. Just trying to lose the patchiness. I don't think I'm going to do it, but okay, just trying to put these details on. why this eye is taking me so long. I gave up on watching The Winchesters. I was disappointed by it as a prequel to Supernatural. I was never a Supernatural fan, so I didn't see that. I did see a good documentary about Japanese obsession with cats. I want to see that one. There's an entire bookstore that only sold books about cats. I don't know if you guys get Disney Plus, but I just started watching. It's subtitled because it's all in Japanese, but it's about this boy who joins a sumo club, and he's sort of, it's called Sumo Do and Sumo Don't. And he joins because his advisor sort of forces him into it. And the only other person is this girl. But it's interesting finding out about the sumo sport, because you're only if your only knowledge is about the big sumo wrestlers, apparently in like colleges, most sumo wrestlers are just normal looking guys. It's kind of cute, kind of interesting. That's also where you would see the Benedict Society. Always late brushing this off. Okay. In Korea, cats are not beloved. Many Koreans are scared of cats and superstitious about their eyes. Interesting. Well, the Middle East the entire Middle East, well, I should say the Muslim part of the Middle East is pretty cat crazy. But part of it, and they don't like dogs. I mean, just I'm being very general. But part of it is because Muhammad had allegedly had a cat and was a big fan of cats. So I think there's a story. I think it was Muhammad. Um, where the his beloved cat was like sitting next to him on his garment, and instead of moving the cat, and he needed to get up, instead of moving the cat, he cut his robe or whatever so the cat wouldn't be disturbed, so he could get up. Okay. Moving on to my least favorite part, the lips. Turn my phone off. So yes, I was going to try some pink lips. One of your favorite authors are Turkish, Elif Shafak. Read the cats are starting to get more popular in Mongolia. Now that people have given up being nomadic. Originated in Egypt, Middle East. Well, domesticated cats, I believe you're right. Yep, cappuccinos, reading each other's minds. Oh, Muhammad's sleeve, that's a story. Walter Santi, don't know that. It's going to the vet on Friday. He is old, and I think he's losing weight again. Yeah, I was thinking about taking my cat to the vet because she's been meowing a lot or been wanting attention a lot. And I'm wondering if that's a sign that she needs. I'd like to put a little color around the outline. I could just put glitter on my lips. When's the last time I did that? I think I still want a little bit of color. Let me try to do it with some eyeshadow. Probably can't even tell. Okay. What time is it? Oh, goodness. Let me put on some lash. No, actually, I wanted to put on. Just wanted to. I just put on some of this sparkle stuff that you probably can't tell. Does Booktube Goddess have any? No, I don't. My pick. I honestly don't think I have that much of a following to make merch worthwhile, but thank you for asking. Dogs have been domesticated much longer than cats. I had to take my dog to the vet. Oh, he has stomach issues, but he's okay now. Yay. Hyperthyroidism, which is common among older male cats. I think my cat's fine. I think she's just maybe cranky. I don't know. Yeah, my cat's 14, 15, so she's getting up there. And my other cat was 17 years old before she passed. Through videos and visiting a cat cafe. Okay, so going with eyelashes. I got some more new eyelashes. I wanted to give this a try. These are not cheap. I mean, these are very cheap eyelashes. But they're nice and fluffy. Oh, if you're looking for drag queen merch of a YouTuber, look up Wilma Fingerdew. She's does mostly recaps of RuPaul's Drag Race, but she has some great merch. I don't know who the artist is that does her stuff, but it's really fun. Oh, come on. Oh, I think it's the wrong eye. I think these eyes turned out pretty good today. Of course, as usual, I won't know until I actually start filming videos. catch up on the chat, and then we'll put on a wig. You can get t-shirts printed on order on various websites. Zazzle. Yeah, when I was produced a game, we used Zazzle. 1-year adoption. Redbubble, yeah. I don't read a lot of books featuring animals other than dragons, but I just thought about a book about an Australian stray dog. Red Dog by Louis de Beers. They made a Red Dog movie. Oh, thank you, Cap. Corgi. Herding dogs are great. It's been a while since I've had a dog. Well, since childhood. But I've always had a dog as an adult. But, I mean, a cat as an adult. But since I've pretty much lived in apartments and cities, not a great for most dogs. But now I'm in Las Vegas and I have a backyard, so we could get a dog. Okay. So I grabbed this pink wig. Oh, by the way, you have my permission if you want to grab any of my pictures off of my Instagram, if you want to put it on a t-shirt. Okay. Oh. Well, these are the earrings I grabbed. Gloves. If you saw my Instagram, I found this one picture of myself when I was, I think, 10. It is just so awful. But I put it up on Instagram. I thought it was funny. I know I have a picture of me being like around 7 or 8 years old, wearing my mother's dress and wig. I haven't found that picture yet, but I know it exists somewhere. Okay, this is the final look. We did blue eyes with purple underneath and purple glitter and a pink lip. Well, I've definitely done worse before, so. Okay. Herding dogs. Cattle dogs. Hey, yay, you like the wig? Thank you, Lynette. Brings it all together. Okay, so today, like I said, I'm going to do, I think, a Enola Holmes video and Critical Role video. Now, I don't know if I'm actually going to release a video this Tuesday because I had filmed this Doctor Who video where I should have planned it out, but I just kind of talked about classic Doctor Who, and I didn't edit it because it went all over the place. So I don't know if I'll have anything edited for Tuesday. So I may just do a Critical Role video this week and then do my normal, try to do 2 videos. Unless I can get Enola Holmes edited on Monday night, that I could release that Tuesday. But we'll see. We'll see. Okay, guys. Thank you, Cap. Thank you, Lynette. Thank you, Sandra. Thank you, everybody who showed up. DK Moon. Saw Fit to Be Read. I know Lori popped her head in earlier. Oops. And I hope to see you again next week. Oh, maybe I'm going to film Shove It or Shove It just to have it in the can. So if you see this makeup, you'll know when I filmed it. Or I can wait till next week. Okay, anyway. That's it. And as usual, may all the books you read be blessed. Hope to see you next week.